Hello, viewer, and welcome to Spotlight here on Hope TV, where you look and live. And on Spotlight, we are always doing our very best to bring to you persons who are doing things in our society that are transforming the people in the direction of light. And we want to appreciate you for your continuous support. And as always, you're part of this conversation. Do engage us on the WhatsApp line that's provided. Also on our social media platforms, you're welcome to give us your views as we talk about the boy child on this edition of Spotlight. Now, the boy child, huge conversation, but we rarely meet actors who are actually doing something about the boy child. Most of the times we are in social tables discussing it, sometimes dead-end conversations that don't end up in an initiative. But we are happy on this edition of Spotlight to welcome Kenneth Mwangi. Kenneth Mwangi is a young man, and this young man is the director of the Boy Child Foundation. Yes, there is the Boy Child Foundation. And he comes to us on this spotlight for us to engage this boy child, let me call it situation, and see whether we can get some light through his experiences and through the insights that they propagate through the Boy Child Foundation. Ken, welcome.
Thank you very much, Rev.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
All right. I mean, just boy child. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. But
Thank you.
My experience has been that most of us talk a lot about the boy child.
Yes.
But we never quite go past those conversations. But thank you to you that you've come on Spotlight.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you
just to share with us insights about the boy child and the dynamics around that and what you are doing and also what we can do as well.
Yes.
And even understand just what is this boy child situation? Is it an exaggeration or is it real? So welcome.
Yes.
And I think it's just right for us to begin with you telling us about the Boy Child Foundation. Some of our viewers have never are hearing it for the first time. So what's the Boy Child Foundation? What are you doing there?
Thank you very much, Rev. I'm happy to be here. My name is Kenneth Mwangi Karanja. I'm a born-again Christian. Yes, so I am the director of the Boy Child Foundation. We are an NGO that seeks to empower the boy child. We create awareness of his responsibilities and his rights. So we go to schools, we speak to the boys, we create awareness, we go to the community, we speak to the boys, and even in church, you will find us there. Yes.
Okay. How long ago was the Boy Child Foundation formed?
The Boy Child Foundation was founded in 2007 by my own father.
Okay.
Yes,
so man to son.
Yes, man to son. So he was seated in church one day. He had a meeting with a group of men in church. So he asked a volunteer to volunteer and pray for the session that they were having. No one was willing to lift their hands up. But whenever he's sitting, he's having a gathering of women. If he asks someone to volunteer, he will see very many hands up. So that really moved him. And that is how the idea came up. Why don't I empower this man, bring him closer to God, create awareness of his rights, his responsibilities, and who he is and who he's supposed to be. Yes.
So the foundation actually came from an experience.
It came from an experience.
Your dad experiencing some gap in a church setting, in a gathering of men. And I think that's interesting how it came out of an experience.
Yes.
Now, for you, now you work, you're a director at the foundation.
Yes.
How have you yourself as a boy child? Let me use that. We'll talk about boy child in a short while.
Yes,
but
it's okay.
How has your journey been? Have you always been an advocate of the boy child, or did also an experience bring you here?
Well, I'll say more of both, because when my father founded this organization, I was a member. I was just a member of, whenever we're having meetings, I'm there. I'm putting in something that I have an idea of what I've seen or something. But I started working fully with the Boy Child Foundation, or when I started like putting in a lot of my time, is 3 years ago when I got born again. So I was working in Saudi Arabia. I was working in a restaurant. I was the main guy. I was the one who was collecting payments for the hotel. So I really used to see how men are struggling there, and how they are going through many things. And I remember how they organize it, how I left my dad with an organization of impacting the boys. So while I was there, I got born again. And
You
after
actually got born again in
I
Saudi
got
Arabia.
born again in Saudi Arabia.
That's interesting.
It's very
You know,
interesting
yeah,
because
yeah.
there is no church there. It is a
I
Muslim
thought
country.
so. I thought
Yes.
so. Yeah.
It is a Muslim country, and you can't find a church, or you won't find many people speaking about Christianity. So God just spoke to me one night when I was asleep, and he told me to get closer to him and get born again. So I got born again. That is 3 years ago. And after I came back, after I finished my contract in Saudi Arabia, after I came back to Kenya, I thought, why not work on this organization? Because I know the challenges that men face. I have been a person who I've been a guy who has used drugs and substance. So I know what the challenges men go through, what I can speak about, and I know how to look after these boys. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So from your own experience, and I think that's you're in a place where, as a man, you say on the dark side of life. Then faith
Yes.
brought you to the light.
Yes.
Now, Ken, just asking, how has God impacted your sense of manhood?
My sense of manhood. I will say that my manhood has God has really impacted me in many different angles. I've been able to understand myself better, that a man is not about the muscle or being or just strength. A man is about the impact that he makes in life, the legacy that he leaves, and who he is, how he presents himself. So I would say that the church has really changed me, or God has really changed me. And from the stories of the Bible, I normally see how men are, and I'm moved by them, and I try to be like some of the stories that I read in the Bible.
Okay.
So I would
do you have a story in the Bible that you really resonate with and say, hey, as a man, I resonate with this one?
I would say many, but I will go with Job. Job really moved me from how God changed him, and how his life was, and who I read him, who he is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know,
so I would say Job. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting around just staying around your faith in God, and how it has also made you, form your sense of manhood. But there is a notion, Ken, that the men in God tend to be too soft, tend to be like they are not like really masculine. It's some of the candidates soften up and as if that is not something that works well for the man. What's your view about that?
Well, I'll give you a story of my life.
Okay.
When I was in school, I'm brought up in church. So ever since I was born, I've been going to church all my life. Only between the times of when I went to college that I was driven out by peer pressure. But I'm glad that God brought me back to his house. So before when I was young, I used to think the same as you're saying, that a guy who's in church is a soft guy, or a woman who's in church is a soft guy. And he's not strong, he's easily put down, but that is not the case. You find that this guy, how he is because he understands himself more. If you sit down with that guy and speak to him, you will see that this guy is not it's not that he's a soft guy, but it's about how he views things and life, and what God is doing, he has done or is doing in his life. Yes.
Okay, I like that. And the term boy child.
Yes.
sometimes people don't relate with it so well, especially because it seems to, talk about the man as a child, boy child. In the Boy Child Foundation, how does the name boy child fit in?
When you talk about the boy child, many people, when you ask them about the boy child, they will look at a boy who's a child, because that is what the name suggests when you just look at it. But the boy child means that looking at the boy from his young age to being a grown-up or being a man. So the name itself, like us as an organization, or how we found our name, the boy child, is because we understand that, you see, when a tree is growing, this is a stories that my dad have been telling me, that when a tree is growing, you can only straighten it when it's young, if it starts to bend. But when it bends and becomes old, it's not easy to straighten it. So it's good to start with the foundation, who this boy is. When he's a young man, you try to straighten him, so that when he's a big old man, he's able to be straight and living in the right way.
Okay.
Yes.
So you almost, in a literal way, then focus on the boy when they are young.
Yes.
So boy child, you start from...
We start from the child.
Okay.
We speak with him from the child, but we also speak about to the older men, because I understand that there's midlife crisis, like at 40. So we also look at that age. We speak to them. So as an organization, we deal with boys from 4 years to 55 years.
So you deal with boys and men.
We deal with boys and men.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Then let's talk about the boy when the boy is young.
Yes.
And because you go to schools.
Yes.
And you speak to these boys.
Yes.
And you've already talked about yourself as a young man.
Yes.
Being stranded in areas like alcohol.
Yes.
And
yes.
all the accompanying trappings with that. Because alcohol never comes alone.
Yes.
It comes as a package.
As a package.
As a package of many things.
Yes.
But what do you see as from the Boy Child Foundation and your experience, what do you see as the challenge or some of the challenges that the young man, the boy, is experiencing?
I would say that there are quite many. I'll start with this young boy at times lacks a role model in his life. When he's growing up, if he has an absentee father, or if the father is in drugs, this boy will not have a role model or someone to show him the right direction. So lack of role model is one of the things. There's also lack of awareness. This boy is not aware of his rights, his responsibilities, or who he is as a man. So that is what we do. We create awareness of the rights of a boy, who he is, and what life is supposed to be, to live, even from a Bible perspective. Because God created man before, then he got a rib from the man to create woman. So this boy is the one who's supposed to take care of the woman. Like if you look at the cases of femicide, you will find that most of the deaths that happen, or most of the killings that happen, are boy child killing a woman. Why is this? It's because this boy is lacking awareness of who he is. He's supposed to take care of this woman, but not kill him. So if he's aware that he was created first by God to take care of this woman, he'll not kill this woman. Yes.
Yes. You bring a very sensitive matter there about femicide.
Yes.
And how men consistently, not consistently, but increasingly, are killing their girlfriends.
Yes.
Or purported girlfriends. And that's a real situation, because even now, as you enter a relationship, as a woman,
you're in fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are in fear. Who is this man?
Yes.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit about how a man is supposed to relate with a woman, especially young men.
Yes.
Whom should they see women as, and how do they handle the women in their lives, and how do they enter the lives of women in their world?
Okay. So I think, you see, for men, before I got born again, I used to view women as a tool for maybe sex or, you know, not not someone of my own, or but I don't know which word to use, but
And
I used
you're not alone. I think
Yes.
many men do see women as, objects of sex.
yeah. But when I got born again, I started because I got involved a lot in church activities, and I used to interact a lot with women. So I changed my perspective on how I view women and who they are. I take them as my sisters, or someone who's like me. You know, someone like I started respecting that woman. So I would say that respect is one of the things that this boy should look at when he's viewing a woman. They should respect that woman and understand that he's the one supposed to take care of this woman. Yes. I'll just before we go, you asked about the challenges facing the boy child.
Yes.
There's also something that low self-esteem. You see, when this boy is not aware of himself, his self-esteem tends to be low. And how do you build it? You build it by being the right in the right circle, the right people, changing the friends, you know, the family. You are able to change your self-esteem, because if you live with people who view life on a bad angle, your self-esteem will go low or will be like them. It's said that show me your friends and I'll show you what kind of person you are. So if you live around people with self-esteem, it will yours will be boosted as also. So there's also the other challenge that men are facing is absentee fathers. You find that this father is absent, he's in drugs, or he is probably is even working. So you find that the dad leaves the home at home. He leaves home at 5 and comes back late at night, maybe at 11 or 12. So you find this boy is brought up by the mom or the house manager. So he'll tend to pick the ways of a woman, and that is why you find even boys plaiting their hair. I don't find it good for a man to plait his hair. So being brought up by a woman, you will tend to pick the ways of a woman and not the man. So an absentee father is also a big challenge that the boys are facing, and also peer pressure. The environment or the people that the boy is exposed to, the friends, the people around him in school, at home, really matter, because they are the ones who are going to show him which direction to take, and the people how to live or which way to live in. Then there's drug and substance abuse. You see, when the boy is not having good friends, if he's having bad friends who take drugs, he's going to take that direction. So it's good that these boys are spoken to. They are told the people to live with, and from a young age, the kind of friends they're supposed to have. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I think it's a real situation, because most of these things neighbor on the identity of the man. It's like the man, whether it was in terms of esteem, in terms of their role in the society, there's a certain crisis of identity. Very critical is, let's stay with the women a little bit, the way men relate with women.
Yes.
A big challenge has been marriage, right? And men entering marriage. And sometimes there's a feeling that when men enter marriage, that they aren't quite ready for the institution. Women expect leadership, and it's not just your ordinary woman now, it's your modern woman.
Yes.
The modern woman expects leadership from the man, but the man sometimes is not up to it. Can you assess that?
Yes, I think you see these challenges that the boy is facing in life, they are the ones which graduate to some other things like failed marriages, dysfunctional marriages, gender-based violence, or even murder. So this boy, you see, when he has a good role model, when he sees his father is the way he does his things, the way he takes care of the mom, he'll be able to pick his ways. So having a role model is a key thing in bringing up this responsible man in a marriage. Also, the people, even the people that you surround yourself with, the friends. If I have a friend who talks about, or who is always getting into marriages and breakups, or someone who's let's say an irresponsible man, I'll tend to pick his ways. So I'll say that your circle really matters. The people that you surround yourself with, they will steer you to the right direction, even in marriage.
Okay.
Yes.
Then, Ken, there's this phenomenon
Yes.
that the society today is skewed against the man. That we live in a culture whereby, just by the fact that you're a man, you become disadvantaged in some ways. Many people, I would really want to cite a research, but I think I would just cite conversations here that if you go to an interview,
Yes.
and you are two top candidates, you are the top, the man and the woman. Many people say that if as a man, if you have a woman who is also like you are a very strong candidate, chances are high that the corporation, the institution would take the woman.
Yes.
I mean, how do you read that?
I think even this is where we come in as the Boy Child Foundation, because we are the ones who are supposed to fight for the rights of this man. Because you see, if the rights of this guy is not fought for, he'll not find a place in the society. I'll give maybe a scenario. You see, in Kiambu, I'll talk about Kiambu because that is where I come from. That is where I'm born and bred. So, like in Kiambu High Court, the High Court of Kiambu, you find that there are 6 magistrates, and one of them is the only one is a male. So the other 5 are women. So you find that the society has really spoken or has really empowered this lady. He has even forgotten about this man. And this is where now the boy child will come in. We fight for his rights. We even try to create opportunities for this boy. Like you've spoken about, if maybe it's a politician, they are vying for a certain seat, people will tend to pick the woman because of instead of the guy. This is, I think, people will tend to go for the woman because the woman, if you look at the woman, if you compare them with a guy, you will go for the lady because you think the woman is a bit straight, or if he maybe gets in a certain seat, he won't embezzle funds, he won't do bad things, because men are associated with bad things. I don't know why. But I think this is where now we come in. We speak of the rights and responsibilities of this man.
Okay. Maybe you can tell us, Ken, what these rights and responsibilities are.
I will look at, first of all, the first that we stand with is the Bible perspective, that the man was created first by God. He was given, the woman was gotten was made from a rib of a man. So the man is supposed to take care of the woman. Also, this man, the responsibilities, or I'll look at the responsibilities of a man, is taking care of his family. He's the head of the family. So he's the one supposed to take care of his family. He's the one supposed to take care of the community. And he's the one actually even given dominion, with the woman also, given dominion over all living things on earth by God. So one of his responsibilities is taking care of this woman and taking care of the people and the environment around him. Another maybe responsibility that I would look at is when God created man, he was supposed to multiply. So he's the one who's supposed to take care even of the children. So I would say responsibility is the main thing over many things. Yes.
Okay. And when you think about those responsibilities and rights, one can't help but think that these rights, responsibilities, they are in the context of a very, we're coming from a very traditional environment where the man had a natural right. The man was ahead. The man was taken to be like, just because you're a boy,
Yes.
you're more celebrated. But now we're in a place where the boy, the man, the rights have to be championed for. The one who was traditionally a natural leader now, or had natural advantages, now you have to champion, for this
him.
person.
Yeah.
Just maybe you can comment about that.
There's a data I was looking at in Kiambu County. In 2019, the people who sat for KCP, not KCP, but KCP primary school, there were 16,000 girls and 15,000 boys. That is a difference of 1,000. The following year, 2020, it was the same. It was 15,000 and 14,000, a difference of 1,000. So if you look at this, you'll find that this girl is being empowered a lot. So you'll find even in school, if you enter a classroom, you'll find that the biggest number of the students or the pupils is girls. So the boy has really lost his way. That is why we are finding dropping out of school. He's getting into crime. He's getting into drugs. So I would say that his rights, it's not bad championing for them. It is very, very, very right. Because if someone is going the wrong way, you have to tell him, excuse this, please try and follow this way.
Okay.
This is the right direction. So I think it's not bad. Yes.
At least the good thing is that there are people who have reason, like the Boy Child Foundation, to just champion, for the man, so that they don't find themselves in a place where they are totally disadvantaged. And no one is speaking for them.
Yes, and actually that is where we are heading to. If we don't speak about the boy, the boy is going to be left behind completely. Because if now you look at the cases I've given you about the High Court, the school, about the KCP, this is the world that we are living in. And if we continue like this, the boy is going to have no place in the society.
All right. Ken, are there some very specific programs that the Boy Child Foundation is doing to promote the rights and responsibilities
of a man?
Of the man?
The first thing that, or the main thing that we do is we go from school to school. We go and speak to the boys. We create now the awareness of his rights, his responsibilities. We speak about the empowerment of the boy. So we are also having a program that we also educate boys. We have boys that we take to school. We pay for their school fees. We pay for their school fees, their uniform, their pocket money. We take care of that boy while he's in school. So we face challenges as an organization because we lack mentors to come and speak to the boys. We do it ourselves, and we also lack funds to facilitate our movement or to even carry out projects. So those are some of the challenges that we face as the own organization. But God has been faithful. We've been able to do what we are doing. Yes. Another thing is that we're having a tournament that we've partnered with Daystar University. It is a football tournament. It will be held on 29th of March. That is on Good Friday and Saturday. So our objective is to bring the boys together, to speak to them. We'll have a counselor who will come and speak to the boys. We'll speak about a number of our topics: drug abuse. We'll talk about boy-child empowerment and environmental conservation. So we'll be there. We'll be speaking to the boys. We'll also have a desk where the boys can come and ask questions and be helped or try and find solutions to their challenges. So there's also now that football, it's going to bring the boys together. They'll be able to speak amongst themselves and understand each other and know what the other person is going through, how they can overcome it, and such things. We're also planning to start a program after the tournament. The program that we're about to start is the boys who are finishing high school we want to pick a number of them. Like we are planning to start with about 10 or 20. Now, depending on the kind of support that we'll get from people. So we want to take the boys, after they finish high school, that is where you find most of the boys get lost. That is where they get into crime. The peer pressure misleads them, and they get into crime, they get into drug and substance abuse. So we want to take these boys and take them for a short course training, like carpentry. There's carpentry, there's plumber, there's welding. So even computer packages, then we look for opportunities for them. Yes, or we find how they can start their own business, because that is one thing that we also advocate for, self-employment. Because I believe the opportunities out here, you just need to put in the right, you just need to put in your time and the right people, and everything will work well.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, I'm also thinking about what I can call an internal dynamic in this way, that men are not just facing challenges out there, but even at home. There is the father and there is the son.
Yes.
And sometimes there's a huge disconnect between fathers
Yes.
and sons.
Yes.
You know, sons think that their fathers are in another generation, and therefore whatever they say is still, you know, and out of style, right? But also fathers think that their sons are lost and they are wayward, and and they're not going to amount to anything.
Yes.
You know? So within the family itself,
Yes. Yes.
there are dynamics that need to between the man and the man in the in the family, and several people have suffered that. So how does one engage that, especially as a father? Let's come from a father's point of view.
Yes.
And as a child, as a son also, how are you supposed to manage this relationship to make it helpful?
Yes. So I think what you're saying is true. Before I got born again, or when I finished high school, you see, there is that period before you get into college, the time that you spend at home. So that is where most of the boys get lost, because they think they are men, so they can get into anything. I'll give you an example of how I started taking alcohol. After high school, there is the football matches that are played in the weekend, the Premier League and those matches. So when I go to watch those matches over the weekend, I go and meet other people, because most of the time these matches are watched in a club.
Yes.
So you go there and you meet other people. Then they show you their ways. So that is how I started drinking. My father tried speaking to me about it, but I couldn't understand why, because other people are doing it. So I will say that the father is a very important person to the boy, especially a responsible father, because a father wouldn't want anything wrong or bad to happen to their son. I think I'll give the best way to answer that is to give the roles of a father in a family.
Yes.
One of the roles of a father is to help in his education. See, when the boy comes from school, you try and show him you pay for his school fees. That's the first thing. You become a responsible father by educating this boy. Whenever if he comes home with assignment, try to help him solve those assignments. The other thing is a dad can really help in a relationship with girls, because if you see your father, the way he treats your mom, if he's treating your mother in the right way, that is how you treat other women. So another thing is the father really prevents a son from criminal activities, because he'll be able to tell him that this is the right direction, this is not what you do, this is how you should live, and he will really guide him on how to live. The other one is he'll help the son with emotional stability, because the dad will be able to give stories of his young age, what he was going through, and this young man will be able to understand the challenges or whatever he's going through, how he can solve it, and that he's not the first one to go through that, that it's something that happens, and he can get a way out if he follows what the dad is telling him. So those are the roles of a father. And the father is a really key thing in bringing up a boy. Yes.
All right. I'm thinking about the church as well, because you've talked about being born again.
Yes.
You've talked about how God, shaped, your life.
Yeah.
How does the church, or how should the church participate as well in molding the boy child?
That is a very good question. The church is supposed to, one thing that they should do is create seminars. These seminars will be able to bring in the boys in the church and even in the community. So you get a counselor and come and speak to the boys and tell him who he is and create awareness of who he is and his rights and responsibilities. Also, the church should also go out to the community. You have you create crusades whereby we'll have people who will come to speak to the boys, and because it is not all boys who will be able to come to church. Not all boys. If we have a seminar in church, not all men will come from the community. So we have to go outside and try and look for that boy and show him the right direction. And also being good role models in church can also really contribute to spearheading this boy to the right direction. So if you have a good role model, if you are a good role model to this boy, if he sees a responsible man out there, he'll be able to want to be like you. So we have to be a very good role models and be good examples to the community as a church. Yes.
Okay. And in the course of your work,
Yes.
I know that there's a general assumption that once you talk to the young man or the young men, they will respond. They will respond positively. They will begin to transform. But you find some young men who don't want to hear about, transformation. They don't want to hear about reform. They don't want to hear about, identity. They're just going on with their lives. They are not just happy with their lives, but maybe even reject your message.
So I think these boys, even those ones, we try and even incorporate even those ones, because you will find if you go to speak to the community, whenever you're trying to speak to them, you'll see one who is not responding well. We don't push them away. We try and bring them close. We try and involve them one by one and make him understand why you are there and what are you trying to tell him. Why is it important in his life and what direction he should take. We also try to give examples of other people, what they've gone through, and make them understand that whatever they are doing is not right. Yes, so we try and bring even those boys together, incorporate those, even those who are not responding well. Yes. So I think another solution to this boy child is try and instill good values in his life. So these are things like small things like respect, equality, love, justice, responsibility. You try and show him why it is necessary and why it's important in his life. Also being present in their lives. Talking about these boys who are not responding well. If you be in their, if you are present in their lives, they'll be able to see that there is someone who cares about me. Now they'll be able to give an ear and try to hear what you're trying to make them understand. Yes. Also instill good work ethic. Show them why work is important and why they should work and why they should, generally why they should work. So there's also, you have to instill peer-resistant decision-making skills. These are like self-esteem and self-worth. So you have to show this boy why he's worth who he is and why he should live in a certain way.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just listening to you emphasize the place of a role model, and just wondering whether you have a person, especially as a young man, whether you have particular role models, people you can say,
Yes.
this one influences me,
Yes.
or this one has, has had an impact in my life, because men do influence other men, whether positively or negatively. Maybe you have some role models who have, whether you follow or you've interacted with, and you're like, hey, these have been of great impact to my manhood.
Yes, I would say that my dad is the biggest role model that I have in my life. The way he does his things, the way he takes care of his family, the way he takes care of his wife, his work in church. I would say that he's my big role model. And I look up to him. I'd like to be like him when I grow up.
Oh, great. That's amazing.
Yes.
I think having a son who would say that the dad
Yes.
is the ultimate role model. I mean, that's a prayer for many people.
Yes,
but here you
yes,
are,
yes.
that is your experience.
Yes,
That's
yes.
very, very encouraging.
Yes.
And you've talked about different challenges you face at the foundation as you work. What
Yes.
keeps you motivated?
What keeps us motivated is to see that the boy is heading, he's trying. Because if you go to a school and you see a boy performing well in school, we are motivated by that person, and we know that we are going to win this battle, and the boy will be empowered, and he's one day we'll say that we have achieved our main goals and objectives.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's the boys transformed.
Yes, the boys
become your motivation.
Yes.
And there are people who are watching this program, and maybe they would want to volunteer. Maybe
Yes.
they would want to be part of what you're doing. You've
Yes.
talked about having a shortage of mentors. How can people get in touch with the Boy Child Foundation?
Okay. So we have our social media pages. On Facebook, we are the Boy Child Foundation. On Twitter, on Instagram, even on YouTube, we are on all platforms as the Boy Child Foundation. We also have our website where we post our jobs, what we are working on, our programs, our projects. It's www.theboychildfoundation.com.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go on Google and just type the Boy Child Foundation, the first website that will come is ours.
Okay.
Yes, you will see me there. You'll see the jobs that I do.
Yeah.
You'll see that the works that we are doing. Also, we have, if you'd like to make your contributions as a mentor, or as, in terms of funds, you will find everything on our website.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Even my number is there on our website.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I think that it's an effort worth partnering with.
Yes.
And keep at it.
Thank you.
As we said at the beginning of the program, we hear a lot of people talking about the boy child, but
Yes.
we hardly hear consistent programs or
Yes.
consistent initiatives,
Yes.
and that are really writing their boy child responsibilities, and then also fighting for their rights. And keep it going at Boy Foundation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Boy
Thank you
Child
very much.
Foundation.
Yes.
I'm also very inspired to know that at the bedrock of your initiative
Yes.
is faith in God.
It's faith in God.
Yeah, it's faith
Yes.
in God. And
Yes.
to know that you are a beneficiary yourself
Yes.
of the Boy Child Foundation.
Boy Child
All
Foundation,
right.
yes.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
Welcome,
being on
welcome.
Spotlight. Viewer, we have been talking to Ken Karanja, who is the director of Boy Child Foundation. Lots of things to learn from here. But what stands out is that there's definitely a real need to support the boy child, especially in his identity crisis. Now, we need to take them on a journey in finding the identity they need, especially in the times that we are living in. And you don't need to move very far. You just need to look maybe just in your house, that son, that brother, and ask yourself, what are you doing about it? This has been Spotlight. Thank you for watching.